Hello and welcome to New Meta, episode 12. Super fun and interesting episode for you today, I hope. We're going to basically be recapping the Stockholm Major that myself and Marco actually attended.
And guest Nick.
In Sweden. And then also talk about some pub takeaways, some meta trends, as well as some fun stories of the trip as well. And then also talk about this mini patch that came out literally like an hour or something ridiculous.
Yeah, on our walk home after the event had finished at midnight or whatever, we somehow, I don't know, check our phones and see that a new patch is out. From the walk home, we have a little digest of it. It was pretty fun. Yeah, straight away it came out.
Yeah, they really didn't mess about. And I must say, I actually said at the end of episode 11 or during episode 11 that they only release patches on Thursday, so it shows what I know. Valve has other ideas, but we'll be covering all of the small and not so small changes. I know Adam has some big brain things to say. So Marco's already jumped the gun on his introduction.
Apologies.
That's fine. So I'm also I'm not even going to intro you.
Oh, you should, because I was going to say I'm really excited to be munching through the 10s, episode 12.
Munching through the 10s. Adam, are you excited to be munching through the 10s?
Yeah. I don't know what else to say to that. I don't know if I want to dignify that phrase. Munching through the 10s.
Yeah. Let's just start with our trip. Very fun as it was. Actually, Adam, did you watch? How much of this major did you actually watch?
I had not during the week. Didn't get to catch a lot during the week, but during the weekend, saw quite a bit of it. And
right.
Like a mix between that and the NCAA basketball tournament. Had like some dual screens going.
Cool, sounds amazing. I'm with you with the NCAA. Put my bracket on the Discord. Speaking of which, Discord bouncing more than ever. Got loads of people signed up. Good chats going down. A lot of good stuff during the major as well. Discussions on the games and then general questions about pub Dota. We've got everything. We've got SEA. We've got like and spammers. All range of people. So I will leave in the description of this on whatever platform it will be, I'll leave a link to the Discord for anyone that wants to join. I'd highly recommend you do so. Really good fun.
And we have over 40 members.
Over 40 members, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Really, like I said this last episode, but really awesome numbers. So yeah, with that said, the major, VG Gaming taking it down. I don't know how much they got for first. It's one of only 5 majors, so this really is one of the premier tournaments this year.
350,000.
Right, yeah, 350,000. Marco, pretty fun, right? I mean, it was a sick time.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing weekend. I couldn't recommend going to a live event if you love Dota to go and watch it live in a big arena with just crazy Dota fans all around you, seeing the talent live, the commentators casting live. It's just such an amazing experience. Really, oh my God, the fact we got 5 games in the grand final just was perfect. So exciting. The Dota on play was super high level. Like the teams were really flexing how good they are. Yeah, look, I don't think it could have asked for more. And the value we got out of it, we got the general admission tickets, like £20 for 3 days. And we were in the arena like 30 to 40 hours in total. It's just incredible value.
Yeah, all those things you mentioned ring true, of course. And I'd second that motion. If you can get yourself down to the LAN, then do so. I mean, the coolest part about it for me is just being this is only the second time I've gone to a LAN or like a big tournament, the last one being Katowice last year. The coolest part about it is just being in a massive arena full of people that also are like super into the game. That just doesn't have, it seems so alien, that you're standing next to strangers and like chatting about Dota and stuff, or just strangers that are enjoying the spectacle as much as you. It's so bizarre, like, because in everyday life, Dota's sort of no one knows what it is. So to suddenly be in an LAN environment, that's almost the most fun part about it. Like you said, 5-game series. In every series we saw went to the maximum number of games apart from 2.
Yeah.
So that was super sick. And the games in the grand final, probably apart from the final game, which was a bit disappointing, they were all really, really
that
top
game was
games.
awesome.
Yeah,
it was
sick. It was a bit sad. 21 minutes, draft win by ROTK or something. It wasn't as exciting as the previous games.
I think VP were just so tired from having to play a million games more than Vici through the lower bracket, and having to obviously play the best of 3 that had gone to the 3 games earlier when they were a game down against Fnatic. They were like, screw this. Like, Ramses is like, screw this. I'm playing Lycan. Just give me a Lycan. I can't remember what no one played, but they just went for some like push strat. Morph, right? Yeah. They just went for some push strat with the Lycan, and it just did nothing. And they just... Vici Gaming just balled up with a Paparazzi Razor and Ori on the signature Medusa, and just comfortable win. And like you say, ROTK draft. He is the one that actually lifted the trophy at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first person, yeah.
Yeah, he just like grabbed it and lifted it.
Also, just being at the event, just being in and around not only Dota fans like yourself and so many of them, that's just an amazing feeling. But then you're just in and around all the talent and the pros that you watch and every day or read or listen about every day, like the DreamLeague panelists like Shiva OD, Bulldog, just like they're in front of you doing their thing, and it's just so cool. You'd be walking around outside the arena, like passing these kind of people. You'll see the pros, the best in the world at Dota 2. Just there. We went to McDonald's, VP were outside doing the standard cigarette break in between games. It's just like, oh, there's VP, like some of the world's best ever Dota players, just like, oh, cool. And it's just such an amazing feel to every part of the event.
Yeah, no, it's super cool seeing the like VP, the classic VP cigarette break.
Yeah.
The Russia cigarette break, and they're all like, I mean, obviously they're speaking in Russian, so you've no idea what they're saying, but...
If there was a true sight at this major, we could have glimpsed in a tactical walk to McDonald's during the break.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw VP cigarette break TI5.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, it's not even the same roster, but like, it's just a classic VP thing.
Yeah.
All CIS, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see. I mean, you go and you're just, it's like, oh yeah, these people are real.
Yeah, it's so weird.
They don't only exist on Twitch and in the Dota client.
Yeah. No, I had a weird sort of existential realization moment where we were watching the players in the booth, and I was like, wait a second. This game that I play pretty much every day, and I've got like 2,500 hours or whatever I've got, the people that there are 10 people in front of me, like 10 foot away from me, that are like the absolute best on the entire globe at this thing. Like, it's kind of bonkers. So it's super cool to just appreciate some high level hype dotes.
It was really high level, yeah.
Yeah.
It was hype at the start of the grand final when the players walked down the aisle of the seating area.
Yeah, that was super cool. I got high fives from all of the Vici players that were... Yang, the offlaner for Vici, is one of the smallest humans in the world. He's so small, it's wild.
Well, I was going to say, because you guys, not to jump the gun or anything, but you guys got a picture with slacks, right? Suraction slacks.
Yeah.
I just think that picture is so funny because Marco looks short in the picture.
Yeah,
but I know that Nick and Stan and Slacks are just huge, like giants. So I knew if I was in that picture, I'd probably be like even shorter than Marco, like a full head shorter than him. And then I would just look so tiny. And
yeah, he's actually a monster.
Y'all are, I mean, like what, over 6'3"?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Slacks is a tall guy.
Slacks is an unbelievably nice guy as well. He was doing so much fan interaction and taking time to speak to so many people, as everyone was, but he goes another level because he knows that the community is everything to him, and his success is just all about that kind of community spirit, and it's where he came from. So it's really cool to see these people in person and in flesh.
Yeah, Slacks was so nice. We had
great banter with Slacks, sign banter.
Oh yeah. We'll get onto signs. I'll just say, little nugget. Slacks said, get me on an episode. true story. When we got the picture with Slacks, we said we had a little sign that said New Meta Podcast on it that we'd been shoving up into the air during the stream, and he was like, "Oh, podcast! I love Dota podcast. Have me on an episode." I was like, "Sure,
then, yeah.
gladly." So that's one for the future. Look out for that one. Slack special episode.
That's a pog.
That's a pog. Although I'm not sure how soon that one will be. That's probably one for the pipeline, even though he said. But yeah, that's super good. The signs, as was mentioned, basically every day they gave out signs and marker pens.
It's like whiteboard-esque kind of material.
Yes, and quite big as well. And so the fans, the people watching, it was a great sort of downtime, fun interaction thing where you just draw fun stuff on signs and shove it into the air. And the cameras would, especially during the drafts, like the game drafts, when there's a lot of downtime, they'd cut between, pictures of the players in the booth drafting and the crowd. And they'd cut to cool signs, basically.
So many sign pictures.
Yeah.
So many.
It's funny because on the first day, there's not many, or they're just kind of crappy ones. But then as the days progress and people start seeing what others people are doing and like what gets on the camera and stuff, people started getting more imaginative, and like people really good at drawing started doing some sick drawings and all this. And then funny jokes started happening. It's these kind of like organic, fun stuff that you get by being at the event. But that was really cool. Stan got an amazing Meepo coverage.
Give Meepo.
That was funny.
Yeah. I got put down though by the talent. They were like, "Not this game."
Yeah,
no
sorry,
Meepo
fam.
here.
Don't think we're gonna see Meepo.
I don't
game.
think this is a very good pick. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not claiming it's a good pick. I just want it."
Yeah.
Well, then also with the UK Dota, right? You had a hashtag UK Dota, I think, and
Of course,
gotta show UK
like,
Dota.
This guy's lived through a lot. Heartbreak, UK Dota, or something like that.
Yeah. Fogged was like, UK, they've had nothing for years, but they're still here. Like, yep. We've got like OD Pixel. He not only our best caster, but probably in the top 10 best players as well. Sadly. So outside of the signs and the stories, let's talk. Well, there's a couple of other stories, but let's talk about some of the actual Dota, because I'm sure I don't know what percentage of our listeners care about our ventures.
That seemed like a decent enough length to talk about the stories.
For sure, yeah. So the actual Dotes, you get simply because at the event, obviously, you are watching every single game from start to finish, whereas when you watch on Twitch and stuff, you're probably not going to watch everything. I'd say it's rare that I watch, unless it's like TI, that I'm just going to watch an entire event. So you really do get a sense of the meta shifting and teams drafting and stuff. It becomes really interesting. So there's definitely I have some cool takeaways and stuff that will no doubt, as with all Pro Dota, trickle down to the pubs. So these are things you can expect to see, probably emerging trends in your pubs too.
Adam was straight on to the...
Oh, I was banging out Razor and Enigma games.
Yes, this wasn't even at the live event. This was Game 3 VP versus EG. No one whips out what then became this trademark Razor of the tournament. Adam was playing Razor like every day, hours later. But yeah, carry on.
No, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what we'll spend some time talking about, is like these emerging things. One of my coolest, and I would say be wary of this, but one of the coolest sort of ideas that I saw and builds I saw was this mid-1 OD, like playing Outworld Devourer with Greaves, like Midas, Greaves, Ags. The Aghanim Scepter upgrade for Outworld Devourer basically gives you 2 charges of Astral Imprisonment, his W, that replenish. There's a certain replenish time, I don't recall exactly, but OD Ags has been basically trash and never ever picked up, and suddenly mid-1 is just saving people for days with Astral and really making team fights super difficult for the other team, because it's so hard to focus certain heroes, and it's so hard to play around this weird banish spell that he's getting 3 or 4 off in a fight. I thought that was super cool to see OD played like that. I don't know if either of you two have any other cool heroes or cool strats that you saw at the Major that are worth mentioning here?
There was the 5-core lineup game
Oh,
that
yeah.
I'm trying to find.
Yeah, I think that was game 3 against Secret.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So they had a 5 Doom solo and a 4 Enigma and Roger, and then a 3 Pasha Weaver. Was it?
Tied.
Oh, 3 Pasha Tide. No one is on his Razor, and Ramsey's on Weaver. 5-core lineup. Honestly, the trend that I noticed happening in these games was that, and VP were doing it up to the grand final, was playing really greedy heroes, and they'd often play heroes that had these big teamfight ultimates, like the Enigma, the Tide, Brewmaster, who've all got massive ultimates. Pango, to some extent, his ultimate is quite a big one, where you want to be taking these team fights where it's not just like a pick-off, but you want to get 2 or 3 kills and straight into an objective. That kind of playstyle, I think, came out quite strong and took VP to the grand final, I felt.
Yeah, it was interesting, although I would say on the greed stuff, I mean, Vici Gaming were perhaps played some of the greediest drafts and had a really distinctive playstyle of basically farming on a hyper carry.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd say theirs is greedy. I felt like their kind of playstyle was very different to everyone else's.
Right. And when you say greedy playstyle from VP, what do you mean? Like gold intensive?
Yeah, gold intensive, but on kind of every hero. You see a lot of teams where they'll kind of throw a pos 6 kind of roll out there, or even the position 4 will be kind of just not get that much gold and be more like a 4.5. But I felt like, I don't know if it was just VP, but I felt like successful games that were happening, there would be 4 cores, and then like Adam mentioned, there was a game where there was a 5-core lineup because Doom's naturally so good at gaining gold. So yeah, when I speak greedy, I mean more gold on everyone, not just 1 or 2 or 3. Whereas say Vici Gaming, they did very often, I feel, go for this 4 protect 1 or at most Ori and Paparazzi.
Definitely 4 protect 1.
But mainly 4 protect 1, yeah.
In all of the Vici Gaming drafts, I felt like it was clear that there was one hyper carry, and it wasn't always Paparazzi or Ori. It would be Ori Medusa, and they'd never pair the Ori Medusa with, say, the Paparazzi Terrorblade, because that would just be too silly. But they'd always have a space making.
It's like a Dragon Knight or a Razor.
Yeah, sure.
Or a Bloodseeker.
Bloodseeker, Viper.
Death Prophet
and then
as well.
It'd be this Medusa that's the hard carry, or the Terrorblade that's the hard carry that would see them through.
Yeah. And it was interesting because, I mean, there was one game in particular, I think it was against Fnatic, where Fnatic were absolutely stomping, I think game 3.
Yes.
Abed was playing Monkey King, and it was just like a joke. It was like a joke game. We were like, oh, wow, Fnatic really crushed.
In terms of the first 20 minutes of Dota, it was hands down, this is the biggest stomp in 20 minutes we've seen, not just off draft, but off in the game. It was like, 20 minutes in, 10k gold lead, maybe even more. People kind of dive in tier 3s for kills. It felt, everyone, me, you, Nick, were all like, oh, this is a bit annoying. Game 3, like, really big stomp from Fnatic onto Vici. Lo and behold, another 20 minutes later, Vici win.
Yeah, and that was the classic
Blood Rage on Medusa.
Yeah, Blood Rage on Medusa, yeah. And they had a similar game like that where Paparazzi they were getting crushed seemingly, and then you glance up at the net worths and you're like, wait a second, they're like 8k down or something, 6k down, but this their TB is the highest farm hero on the game. So like you say, yeah, they did play a lot of this 4 protect 1.
Yeah, no one else really was apart from Vici.
Yeah, and I think Fnatic had the third place team. They'll be super disappointed to be third, by the way, because I think a lot of their games that they lost, they threw or should have won.
Yeah, they definitely threw game 3 against Vici, which was the upper bracket final.
Yeah. And the game 2 was a very long game as well that they could have won. Their style, I thought, was way more active.
Very
active. All of their cores, so Abed, Ice, and MP, the carry, were all the way MP plays his carry is always rotating for ganks, rotating for team fights to like pick up the pieces and get a couple of kills. And so when a fight emerged, 5 heroes would get there invariably, and they sort of really snowballed and off those fights because they'd often be playing against a team who don't rotate their position 1 in. They just let their Terrorblade farm, or they let their whatever hero it is, their Jug, just farm. But they played heroes like PA and Jug. This is Fnatic. And Abed playing things like Ember.
DJ got a lot of Rasta as well.
Yeah, and they'd play very skirmishy, and they'd snowball off that, and they were really good at doing that. So that was cool.
That was very cool, and yeah, very unique to the Fnatic as well.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't quite good enough. VP, in the third game against Fnatic, kind of outdrafted them and won the lanes, and it was dead easy. So yeah, it was kind of a deserved third for Fnatic.
Yeah. One thing I would say as well, if you want to see how much impact Winter Wyvern can have as a hero, go and watch some of the Fnatic games where Jabs is playing Winter Wyvern.
Game 1, Fnatic versus Vici, upper bracket final. The best Winter Wyvern you'll see in top 3 Winter Wyvern performances in the history of Dota.
Yeah. It was absolutely wild. Puck, I know this is a hero that, Marco, you love or have loved. Puck was a really emerging pick, and I think this will definitely happen in your pubs. Something you could try, although it is quite a hard hero. We saw it mid, off lane, and position 4. So like a flex pick, which is so important in pro Dota. But yeah, Puck as an emerging hero in the metagame, that was cool to see.
I don't think you'll be seeing it as a 4 post 721D.
Yeah, post Pango interaction.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
It is. I do highly rate the hero right now. Otherwise,
yeah, I think in pubs it's very uncommon to see it as a 3. It's a hero that I think of S4, and you see it a few times at the high pro level, but I think it could definitely trickle down into seeing more 3 pub pucks now. Because yeah, it does offer a lot, the hero, and doesn't have to be this flashy mid.
Yeah, and it's not easily countered. You know, if you did want to play Puck mid, it's only really TA that's going to give you a really hard time in the lane. And even then a TA is a bad matchup, but other than that, it's kind of fine. So it's a fun hero to try, for sure. Puck is a fun hero. In terms of other picks that sort of dominated the metagame, saw a lot of Doom, a lot of Pangolier, Oracle, Bane.
The 2 that stood out to me are the Nyx and the Oracle. So the Nyx had the highest win rate by a long shot. It was 70+% win rate or something. And then Oracle also had this really strong 66, 67% win rate and more games. And often you'd see the first pick Oracle, even first pick Nyx, I think. Oracle's definitely feels like the best 5 right now because his skill set offers basically everything. A root, a nuke, magic resistance, defensively, disarm, offensively.
Roche potential.
Roche potential. And then this is all before you've even got your life-saving ult, which can just turn team fights. His E, though, in particular, is just a disgraceful amount of damage in the early game. This is his Purifying Flames. You can dish out like 400 damage in 3 seconds at level 3.
You can snipe so many kills from your cores.
Yeah.
But also, it's like sometimes you do need that amount of damage just to nuke someone at the end.
Absolutely.
Before they get out.
Yeah. Oracles always find kills just because your damage is so high and your Q is incredibly cheap mana-wise for quite a nice amount of damage.
Yeah, it's so cheap.
His Q is an incredible spell, and also the Dispel. You can destroy certain lanes. And this is something, actually, we've already talked about when me and Adam did our duo pod on heroes to pick. We were ahead of the meta.
We did,
talked a bunch about Oracle. I mean, there's a lot of things you can dispel on popular heroes at the moment. You know,
Get rid of track, Ion Shell.
I was gonna say, if you see a Darkseid picked up in your games, scream at your team or do this yourself and take Oracle, and you'll just ruin that off lane for the enemy team.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was going to say Doom. I mean, this hero continues to be the premier off-lane hero, I'd say. And this is a hero that's so good in pubs as well. Counters every hero, right? If you can't cast items or cast your spells. Doom's a super fun hero as well.
Great laning ability with Infernal Blade.
Yeah, you just spam people. I mean, This is how to play Doom 101. Yeah, you literally just spam people with E-Blade and you basically just win the lane.
There was a lot
because you've got crazy regen with Devour.
Yeah, big regen, just big dumb strength hero.
Yeah, people who were maxing his Scorched Earth at DreamLeague, which I think they were saying is not what had always been happening in recent times. But then, because like you say, the regen and he's just kind of unkillable and so fat and tanky and just runs down heroes and hard to stop. But then he's also an amazing hero because he's got this amazing gold farming capability with his Devour, and then he's got the talent as well. So if you're playing a hero that you kind of can guarantee is going to get golden items, you can always have such impact, even if you're having a bad game.
Yeah, it's like 250 gold on a 40-second, I don't know, cooldown or something.
Yeah, and
once you have the talent.
Yeah. A lot of people go Midas on Doom, and if you go Midas on Doom, I'm not advocating Midas in every game, but if you do go that route, I mean, you don't need to hit another creep for the rest of the game and your net worth's going to be fine because Devour and Midas, you're going to be sorted. That hero is one of the offlaners that can, sometimes you find that the offlaner is the highest net worth in the game, sort of 15, 20 minutes in, and Doom's one of those heroes that has that potential if you crush your lane. So Doom's a super cool hero, and like I said, we saw that picked up a lot. Any other particular mentions on the actual dotes?
Yeah, there's a lot of Shadow Shaman picks, but I thought the builds were really interesting. Not a lot of like Blink stuff, a lot of Aether Lens and then BKB rushes.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool because you can do the like BKB and then channel your the shackles for so long you just take somebody out of a fight, which is pretty cool. It's more like a lockdown style. Ward trap and then hold someone there for 8 seconds, as opposed to I'm going to get Aetherlens, Blink, Ags, and be a pusher. I know DJ has done that before, but it seems like Roger and even him, like they switched for this tournament. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Similarly, on Roger's Enigma, he would often not bother getting Blinks. And there were game-winning black holes where he'd just kind of walk into the fight and boom a 3-man black hole, or like Zai with the Naga setup. So people go in. They were getting Blink rarely, is what I would say on these.
From what I saw, I thought they were getting Blink more this major than what I've seen in the last
just talking.
You don't have to rush it.
They did not rush it.
You get like Helm, Greaves, or just depending on the game.
Helm. They were getting Helm a lot. Yeah. The Shadow Shaman's so interesting. Shadow Shaman's such a fun hero. When you get Aetherlands, which you can get pretty quickly because obviously you can dissemble your arcane boots, and then you get the cast range talent at 15. I mean, you're literally shackling people from across the map. I've said this so many times, it's so fun. Like, just hex someone from a range that is just so unreasonable that they'll never expect it. And like you say, the BKB is super interesting. Move away from the pushing. So I totally agree with you that Shadow Shaman was very cool to see.
And then I think one other hero that we haven't mentioned that I think was pretty huge for Vici is Vengeful Spirit. Just think that hero is insane. I mean, in their upper bracket and grand finals, they played 8 games. They picked it 6 times. Wow. So it's...
Did they play this like, as the 3 on Young?
They played it 3, 4, and 5. Because I looked, it was DY played it, Fade played it, and Yang played it. And it's just, I mean, it's a flex, but it doesn't have to have gold because the skills are all really good. The Roche potential is there. The scouting's there with the Wave of Terror. The 2 swaps is huge, along with the being able to pre-break a Lincoln's and still have your ult for offensive and defensive swaps. But then you just exist and you give everybody a ton of damage. And then they blow all their spells on you to kill you, and you show back up again, and you still give everybody a ton of damage. So are you going to cause everybody to blow a second round of spells to kill an illusion that gives 12 gold? I mean, and then once you get the damage talent, or at 20, you're giving like 60% bonus damage, and if you pair that with a Morphling or a Terrorblade, it's 120, 150 damage maybe late game.
The hero offers so much when you list all the the merits to the hero is a long list of strong merits.
I just love that they can kill you, but you still are providing your biggest attribute there without even having an axe.
Yeah. Increases damage output so much if you've got the right draft. But then the 2 swaps, I can't remember what patch it was that you got an extra swap charge, but the potential of that is phenomenal. Like you say, defensively to save allies, but also offensively, like Enigma, this common pick, boom, you can cancel Black Hole.
Yeah.
Any channeling spells.
Through BKB.
Yeah. Cancel teleports through BKB immunity, like spins or rage or whatever. Really strong skill set.
Super high win rate in pubs as well. So yeah, Avenge, certainly. She's
just one of those heroes where you just exist and you're giving the team something. It's like CM, you know?
Yeah, you don't need to cast your spells because
it's like CM, but 5 times better.
Well, it's better, but it's the same type of idea where you don't actually have to hit your spells that well because you exist.
Yeah.
And that's you're contributing something just by picking the hero. And then if you hit your spells, it puts it over the top because what I guess is probably like a 45% aura, I think, with the at level 20 with the
it's 45% at level 20.
That's 4 times better than a Vlad's. So
it's wild.
And then when you build
how
the
much
Vlad's,
damage that is.
I mean, and then Venge is like a naturally you get the medallion, and then the Roche just melts. Yeah, because it's -7 from that and -7 from you. Just built-in Roche potential. The scouting potential on the wave is huge too, and it's so cheap and low cooldown, and you can hit like 5 heroes with it. I don't know. She's just got a lot of. I love that hero.
Yeah, that's a big shout out from Adam.
Yeah.
Well, 55% win rate in Divine Plus, so that's not to be scoffed at. That's incredibly high.
Healthy win rate.
One thing, we mentioned it already, the Enigma position 4, worth going over. This was one of the most... It was interesting because earlier in the tournament it wasn't particularly contested, and then come the final day with the loser bracket finals and the grand finals, it was first ban, first phase a lot, and it almost made heroes like Venge and Bane, they came into it even more because they had that BKB cancelling function with their spells. But the Enigma position 4 is super interesting, and one particularly interesting part about it is the fact that a lot of the pros were pulling Ring of Regen at the start, which I didn't even know was a thing. The Enigma will buy a Ring of Regen, give it to the solo offlaner, deny their range creep, go and jungle, help the lane for a minute until the creep spawn, then go and jungle, coming back to deny the range creep. And it's just such a insane way of playing Dota that you're getting this position 4 with not quite a core level of farm, but way more farm than the supports. You're securing the lane for your offlaner because they've got really high regen, and the lane's pushing into their tower because you're denying their range creep.
And they're getting solo XP.
And just because of the way Enigma is, this thing never changes. You are an X factor in the late game. You can just win the game with a crazy black hole, which we did see in this game. I'm thinking that the Zai black hole, particularly against VP, although they didn't win that series. So that was, that was super cool to see.
Yeah, and that's in the secret VP series, the team which had Enigma won the game. And from after that series, I think it was first phase banned every game. So then Fnatic VP, I don't think it ever made it out the bans.
Yeah, it was not in the grand final.
Adam, I went 2-0 Enigma today after being inspired by DreamLeague. Playing position 4, just ultimate greed. Just farm, black hole, farm, team push, GG. Felt so good.
What build did you go? Oh, go on, Adam.
I played it as well, 2 games, and I think it might be better on Radiant slightly for what you're trying to do. If you do line up your deny with the range creep and then use it to take that triangle. But it's just so nice because you don't even really need a soul ring. I think if I had to do it over, I wouldn't really get one, but you can just use that ring of regen that you're pulling to the offlaner. Use it for a Helm of the Dominator, and I don't know. It's just, it feels so strong. Because then once you have the Helm of the Dominator, you become an insane pusher. And then you have the threat of Black Hole, which allows you to take the tower. You're threatening the push, and then what, are they going to come in and contest you when you have a Black Hole? You know?
Yeah.
To answer Stan's question, so I did go Soul Ring, so I'd rush Soul Ring. I'd do what Stan was saying, so the first minute, do a bit of lane pressure before the neutral creeps have spawned, then go and look to deny the range creep of the off lane as much as possible and use that to farm the neutral camps. So then, yeah, rush Soul Ring into rushing Helm Dominator, you get that, and your kill potential's honest pretty decent because you got the really speedy neutral like a Centaur or a Troll Warlord. You can help secure a kill or two. Then you get 6. Now this is a massive danger zone for the enemy if they want to try and fight a Black Hole. And then Helm Dominator is this really great aura item anyway, so you can push tier 1s with that. Maybe a Siege Creep, Eidolons. Then I went Greaves, so Mana Boots. Don't bother getting Mana Boots until after Helm. Mana Boots, Mech, Greaves. Again, get that, just ball up with the team. All these auras and healing, and it just felt so strong. And the enemy team, it's like, how are you going to stop this? I'm not sure they can. And then, yeah.
I even went the even, I guess, bigger brain or dumber brain build where I just start off with 2 rings of regen and gave them both to my offlaner.
I wasn't confident enough to give them to the offlaner because I can't be asked with the...
I mean, I was playing 5-man Dota, so...
Yeah, if you're in a party, it's definitely doable. But I was like, I do not want to risk not getting this back.
I actually ended up being both games, I gave it to a Mars. So he had 7 regen at level 1. And he was just like, what? He's like, why are you giving me these? Like, I don't even have slots for them. Like, you want them. Just take them. I don't need these. And then I used it for the Soul Ring, but you don't really... Like, if you do the Clarity Mango thing, you're still going to use both of the Rings of Regen because Enigma just wants to build as many headdresses as possible. Because you got the Helm, you got the Pipe, and you got the Greaves.
Yeah.
So
so what happened a few times in the games I was playing, even when the enemy 4 or enemy 5, okay, they know where you are, so they might try and block one of your camps with an observer ward. Fine, I'll deward it with a sentry, like very basic and easy and high value. They maybe try and harass you, but you've got 3 or 6 Eidolons and you just go boom, smack them in the face. They struggle to pressure you. You're near your tower in your position 3, so there's backup there. Honestly, felt so strong. Both games were on Radiant, so I don't know how it'd feel on Dire. I would agree that I feel it would be better on Radiant. But yeah, that's my Enigma experience in pubs today.
I've just got to mention this now while I remember. Bit of a sideshow to our trip was a debate that was sprung on us by Ghost White 9 in the Discord. So shout out to him. And that was the fervor stacks versus 90 whirling axes damage.
I can't believe that got so much discussion.
Got a lot of traction on the Dota questions page on how to choose your talents on Troll Warlord, and Marco was unhappy the amount of traction the fervor stacks were
I
getting.
can't believe this was a debate because fervor stacks is just 100% better.
What? Honestly, I read the question in the morning and I was like, oh, okay, we can answer this and put it to bed. Let's hope a new question comes up. And then for like the whole day, it was like, we'd keep going back and forth about it.
Yeah, that was funny. I will say though, the major evidence, no pun intended, we didn't see a Troll Warlord win. I think Troll Warlord was 0-4 and they all went whirling axis damage.
Oh boy,
then,
I can't deal with this.
A new Troll Warlord pops up. I can't remember who was playing it. Do you remember who was playing it?
It was Vici, wasn't it?
Was it Vici? So Paparazzi Troll pops up, goes for the fervor stacks. Suddenly, it's a 1 game.
Is this true, actually? Because I'm looking, in Game 1 Vici Fnatic, Vici had a Troll, but they didn't win.
And they lost. Yeah.
So maybe the Troll never won a game.
Did Troll never win a game then?
I'm looking on Wikipedia at the games, and I don't see any Troll wins.
I mean... Yeah, I'm unhappy that there was a discussion about this. But it's really funny that Adam has the complete opposite view.
Well, yeah,
about Adam being adamant on the fervor stacks.
We don't need to go into that now. That's a little nugget for the Discord of just one of many discussions to be had over at our New Meta Podcast channel. Fun little story as well. We'll talk about the patch in a moment. We'll start talking about the patch. But so we sat on our plane back from Stockholm. Not only did we see Lizard in the airport, whatever, we actually sat fogged was literally on the seat behind me.
Pog.
And so basically Fogged had three seats to himself, and he's not the tallest of men. So he was able to he basically just lied down across all 3 seats and slept. And I was so tempted to take a photo of him asleep on the seats and put it on Reddit or something. But he would have known that it was us. Yeah. But I mean, obviously he's never going to see us again. But I just thought that was such a dick move.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that you're just going to plop down, sit next to him, and be like, "Hey, buddy."
We joked about that. Yeah.
Because listen to my podcast for the next 2 hours.
Yeah. He looked so tired, and obviously, I mean, he's a Dota player, so he's probably not too keen on fan interactions in general. But we did definitely think about going up to him. Fuck! Yeah. Oh my god!
This is 7 a.m. flight as well, by the way.
7 a.m. flight. Yeah, but also we missed a golden opportunity to have a chat, because he did say at the end when we were coming into land there was a baby in front that was crying in the most bizarre way ever. It was really weird. And I was talking to Marco, and I said I don't know if this baby's crying or singing. It sounds so weird. And Fog was like, yeah, it's really freaking me out.
His head popped up over the seat and we joined in. We're like, oh, hi.
And he was like, wow, it's really freaking me out. And we were had a little laugh with him. But what I really wanted to ask him, and I could have said it at this moment because it's organic chat moment or whatever. I wanted to ask him how he felt about these tri-casts, because this is the second major that OD and Fogged have done, the first being TI.
And they throw in a third person?
Exactly, they throw in a third. And for me, I feels really uncomfortable to me, because it's these, especially TI Grand Finals, it's the coronation and the crowning achievement of this duo, this duo, OD Fogged, that's the best casting duo in Dota, and suddenly you get this diluted tri-cast at the peak moment. So it would have been super cool to get Fogg's opinion on that. Maybe we'll have to ask him at some other time, or an email or something.
TI, I don't know how to say it. It makes sense for the majors to throw in a pro, right? Matumba Man. And there was a value in him talking, but I understand how it would... I mean, it's not very comfortable for a duo to work that in.
Yeah.
But for TI, I would want it just to be the two of them. But at the same time, I felt like it was executed better with Merlini as a surprise. So it's kind of strange. I wish it was just the two of them, but I'm not upset that it happened, because, I mean, Merlini's was a very good caster for a very long time. And, one of the preeminent guys in the scene for so long.
Yeah, it's same with the DreamLeague final. I don't think anyone was disappointed that there was this tri-cast with Matu involved, because Matu in casting a game is actually really good and insightful and speaks well and is interesting and good to listen to. It's just kind of weird that you think, okay, for the grand final, let's whack out the best quality and value commentating we can. And DreamLeague had said, OD, Fogged, everyone knows the world top 2 duo, whatever. So why would you not just have one of the top 2 duos in the world cast a grand final? Why kind of throw a curveball, third person, when 3 people, if that was the best value combo you could do, it would be done more often.
Exactly.
So why experiment and...
But you can't always guarantee who's that third person is going to be anyways, because it has to be a value guy that gets knocked out of the tournament early, right?
Yeah, that's true. If Liquid are in the grand final, Matthew's obviously not casting.
Yeah. I'll just... my 2 pence on this also. I thought it was done a lot better, and I enjoyed it a lot more this time with Matu, because to me, and also I love Merlini, but to me he's more valuable than Merlini, because Merlini does the same thing as Fogged, more or less.
It was double analyst, right?
Yeah.
Instead of analyst, color commentator, and then
pro.
Super analyst.
I guess play-by-play. Yeah. the color commentator, I guess, is an analyst in Dota casting. So yeah, it's like your play-by-play hype guy, your analyst, and then you have the pro insight as opposed to dual analyst. It's
I mean, the Malini thing at TI. I mean, I didn't really like it at all, but I mean, I still love the TI finals, obviously, but it just felt a bit bizarre. And also, another reason it felt bizarre is because Malini, when he was an active caster, would have never got close to TI finals. So it feels weird that he retired, did no casting for like a year, and then suddenly is like in the finals. I don't know. I thought it was a bit weird, but nevertheless, that's something that I wanted to ask Fogged, but I didn't. So that's one regret.
So we had this conversation instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why did Bulldog not cast any main stage games?
He did. He cast with, I believe, definitely Gods. Yeah, it was him and Gods.
I didn't see that combo at all.
Oh,
which sucks because I really like
good.
That combo. Yeah,
it is a really good combo.
I personally prefer it to the Lizard
Moxie.
Yeah,
that's just personal taste.
Yeah, I do think Moxie Lizard or just Moxie as a play-by-play after Toby and OD will be the most value play-by-play, I reckon, going forward, because the organizations will like having the like female flavor, and she's definitely a good caster. I like Moxie's cast, and I'm usually someone that's more conservative. Like in StarCraft, every time there was a new caster, I hated them basically for a year. So that's high praise. Anything else you want to say on the major, or are we happy to move on to the 2-1D?
We wrapped it up, yeah.
Yeah, I think we wrapped it up pretty good. Not much more to say, other than that it was really good fun. And bring on ESL Birmingham, which is the next one that we have planned.
Oh, yeah, that's super
I hope Capitalists will be at that one, I hope. I like this casting.
So. Yeah, I like Cap as well. So 7.21D, typical new meta patch review style, is that I'm literally just going to throw it open. Someone can say a change that they think's interesting. Go ahead, Adam. You can intro the
one change that will affect every game is the Dire hard pull camp, or the hard camp pull on Dire side, because that will be in every game, regardless of hero or item build.
Yeah. Do you want to explain that one? Because I honestly, I don't really know what it means in practice.
Well, you can pull it straight up if you cut those two trees north of. You know how you can make a walking path between you can cut through the trees basically from the tower side to the jungle side top lane. Well, you can pull that camp straight up and it will intersect with the creeps walking. And it's kind of like the same idea with the Radiant one where you have to cut a tree and then you can pull it to the side.
Yeah.
Is it easier to do a double pull? So pull the one at 15 seconds and then
it probably
is because that's how I first read the change, but I'm not sure
I think it is easier to do, because I think the only way you can do this pull through now is that these creeps are leashed longer.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think you can also do the connecting pull a lot easier.
Oh, now, the creep leash longer. Oh, so they don't turn back as quick. Okay.
But then it opens up this extra pull that the Dire never had before, that the Radiant did have.
Yes.
Side pull that we all kind of had a differing opinion on how value it was.
Yeah.
Well, now Dire can do the same thing, which is nice, because Dire is a lot worse than Radiant.
Yeah, we'll have to have an episode discussing the Dire hard camp pull.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't long ago where I was playing a pub and trying to do the Dire double pull, so the easy camp and then pull the hard camp to the creeps. I tried 3 times and failed every time.
It's insane. It's
so hard.
It was so dependent on what camp it was, like on how fast, because every easy camp kills the creeps or dies faster to the creeps, right? Or faster or slower, depending on how much HP they have. And then a lot of time you would think you would get it perfectly, and they just would never connect. I don't know.
Yeah, and in contrast, to do the double pull for Radiant, it's like a 9 out. It's almost impossible to not achieve the double pull. So the fact that you'd have such an imbalance of
I think
difficulty is crazy.
It feels like the dire distance you have to pull it is like 1.5 times longer.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I would say I personally always found the Die Hard pull through pretty easy.
Oh, wow, here he is.
Yeah, here he is.
Plays POS 5 once in Blue Moon.
Yeah, I played like 3 games of POS 5 in my life, but in each of them I've been pulling through for days.
Yeah.
But one thing I find insanely difficult for some reason is to
hit your
stack camps. Like the Radiant.
Oh, they
jungle,
all have different times now.
Yeah, but I know the times. I know the times for all the camps. But it's still so hard. It feels like you need to time it to the 0.25. They start walking back so quickly. The camps I'm thinking of particularly is the Radiant. So the Radiant camp nearest to the mid lane, and the one that used to be Ancients but isn't anymore, and the one below it. Those 3
are
camps.
55s now.
Yeah, they're all 55s. Yeah. But I think it's so you can't stack once they're doubled. Once you've stacked them once, I find it so hard to stack them again. It feels like sometimes there's no time when all the creeps are outside of the box at the same time because they start running back instantly. And that's one thing about this change, particularly to swivel back round to this change, is the change in substance is just that the creeps will follow you for longer. So it's actually really incredibly easy now to stack this camp. You can pull it at 52 and you can pull it at 55 and it will stack. So any time between that and it will stack.
I've seen it stacked 14 times. Someone did it in a lobby as well.
Wow.
So, and no shenanigans either, like no nicks or torrent or vacuum stacks or anything. It's just pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the supports that stack a camp every minute.
I played 3 games of Medusa. Shout out to anyone that made stacks for me. Much appreciated. As for other changes,
we can just bang out the items real fast because there's only 4 of them.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
We're just Aeon Disc is cheaper by 150 gold. I don't know if anyone will buy it. No one bought it at the Major.
I saw it once on Nick's Roger, and that was it.
I saw it like once. Yeah,
it's very
seems kind of a very narrow item to buy because it doesn't give stats. It just gives flat HP and health, or HP and mana, and then it's like a lot of the time it's very narrow if it even does anything good for you because you might actually accidentally take a Lena Q and then it pops. And it's like, that's not why I bought this item, I bought it if I get gone on by a troll or
you've got to do the sick play. I've only seen this play like a couple of times, but 33 he used to
lock before combining,
and then when he was about to die he'd unlock.
Oh wow, that's smart.
So that the item completed in his inventory and then it would proc. That was sick. I feel like they might have patched that out or something weird like that. Or he did it when the item first came out and then it sort of stopped. Maybe it's just like too impractical to be unlocking items in the midst of a fight or when you need it.
Then Guardian Greaves costs 100 more from 1700 really to 1800. Still really good, but it definitely
it's expensive though.
Yeah, very expensive, but it's also a very strong item. So it makes sense because that Guardian aura, when you're low, is insane. And the free heals, no mana cost heals, and regen is very strong.
Atos, cooldown is now 2 seconds longer from 16 seconds to 18 seconds, and the cast range is 50 less. I still think Rod of Atos is going to be pretty prolific. Do you guys think this makes too much of a difference?
It's interesting that when the Greaves and the Atos go together usually, so those are both nerfed, but I think Rod is still insane. I'll let Marco talk about it.
I mean, a big reason that you pick it up is because of the build-up is so great with your crowns. It gives you great stats. It gives you amazing stats, actually. I'm not certain what they are, but it's really high value for the cost for this sub 3k item. And then, it's got this amazing functionality of root from a stupidly long range. And then to reduce the range by 50, it's not really changing anything. The cooldown up 2 seconds is a good change because you will have moments where in a fight, 2 seconds doesn't sound like a lot of time, but in skirmishes, it can be a hell of a lot of time. So that's a good nerf to the item, but the cast range reduction isn't really significant. And like I said, the item build up and the stats it gives you is still really relevant. So you'll still see it a lot.
It's always been an underrated item. It's so cheap for disable. I mean, if you think about items that give disable, a rod is so cheap. That root in incredible range, and now I think maybe 7.21 or 7.20 now that the root cancels TP. It didn't used to. This item's now starting to get the recognition it deserves. You used to only really see it on pudges that couldn't hook.
That's what made the rod, was that it cancels TPs. I mean, it kept getting buffed and buffed and buffed because no one would ever buy it. Like Yule's was better in every way, and now it's like, oh, you don't act like, now this is better because it gives stats instead of move speed, and you can cancel TPs, and it's 50 mana as opposed to like 175 or 120. I feel
like it's justified to give this 150 mana. 200 mana is that good a spell.
Well, it would that would definitely kill it on like Razor and
it'd kill it on a lot of heroes.
Viper,
such a good spell.
But this is getting kind of the treatment that Bloodthorn did, or the Hurricane Pike. Just like slight touches. I expected to get touched up again, but they didn't want to kill the Atom. Right off the bat. So I'm still going to buy it a ton.
Yeah, you'll still always see it. It's just that its impact won't be as large, because for a 2.8k item, it is incredible. So it's a bit unjust for a 2.8k item to be that good. So it's definitely a good change.
I got it today on Viper, can confirm. Still does ATOS things. Marco, do you want to run through the Solar Crest change? I don't know if you have the patch up.
So this is just the target attack speed. So when you cast Solar Crest on someone, you increase... Say you cast an ally, you'll increase their attack speed, you'll give them armor and movement speed. The attack speed increase has gone from 70 to 80. Or you can cast Solar Crest on an enemy and it'll just do the opposite. So it will decrease attack speed, now 80, and it'll decrease armor and decrease movement speed. So it's a slight, very minor buff to the attack speed component of Solar Crest. That's kind of fair enough.
I think that item's very strong.
It's probably underbought for how good it is and not understood how strong it is.
It's just more expensive now. I mean, because I remember in the Discord, I recommended, hey, maybe when you're Lycan, you can buy a halberd, and first off, you start with a Solar Crest and you can disassemble it into a halberd. It's like, oh, wait, that's not the item buildup anymore. Now it's got the Ultimate Orb and like what's the Windlace. So it is a lot more expensive, but it's big effect now when you cast on someone.
I think it's one of those items where, because it's this utility team-orientated item where you're enabling a carry or you're de-enabling the enemy, it's definitely not picked up in pubs as much as it's justified to be picked up. You'll see it an awful lot in pro games. Like you mentioned, the Venge. Zai often played Venge 3. Solar Crest is kind of core. I think in pubs it's definitely not picked up enough.
Yeah, I played Venge yesterday and I got it and I put it on my TB and I just laughed.
7-second cooldown, no mana cost, 12 armor, 80 attack speed, 10% movement speed. So if you're putting that on a TB which already has like 35 armor, you give him another 12, which is a significant amount. That guy can't be touched. And then he's hitting for 80, which is like nearly 2 hyperstones or something on a 7-second cooldown. You're enabling his damage output phenomenally.
Any right-click carry is going to just absolutely love having this buff. Like I'm thinking about slapping it on your PA with like Deso BKB.
Yep.
And they're just going to go to town with 80% attack speed buff. Like
just cast it on the TB, and then when the enemy AM blinked in, I casted it on him, and then he didn't attack very fast at all. It's just
exactly, yeah. Likewise, cast it on the enemy TB, cast it on the enemy PA. Certainly, it's going to completely
the enemy
ruin
Medusa.
Them.
That's
completely.
That's huge. Like it's kind of like a Razor static link, you know?
Yeah, like the anti-carry, the anti-carry sort of thing.
I'd definitely say that people playing pubs should think about it more though and think if it fits into the game they're in, because it really is underpicked as an item.
Yep. Jumping into heroes. quick little thing. We don't need to spend time talking about this, but 4-second longer Tempest double is really annoying at level 3. I know it's only 4 seconds, but I can't be bothered with being split pushed by like Mjolnir, Crystallis, Arc Warden doubles where they're going to be alive for 4 seconds longer. Like, stop.
You say it's 4 seconds, but that's 20% longer. Like, that's a ton. It's a big buff.
Yeah.
Although maybe on the other hand, the illusion will last longer so you can kill it, because there's so many times you almost kill it and then it just dies on its own.
Yeah.
So maybe he can feed a little more gold.
Such an annoying hero.
I hate that hero.
Yeah, Miracle was playing. I saw on the watch tab Miracle playing Arc Warden mid today, so beware.
Ori played one in the grand finals, but they lost. That was game 2. But that was obviously pre-buff, sorry. Where do you want to take us?
Nothing quite as frustrating as double bubble on racks or on a tier 3 you're trying to push.
God, yeah.
That is this egregious.
Yeah. Where do we want to go next? Heroes?
I mean, I'll give a 10-second comment on Broodmother. Base damage increased by 3. Whatever. Super, super, super minor. I hate these kind of changes on heroes like Broodmother, though, because it's a very intangible change, really. Base damage 3 that's not going to cause a shockwave. But these tiny changes can prompt an awful lot of people in absolute numbers to play this hero. And Broodmother is just a hero I hate to see. So sad to see a tiny Broodmother buff.
Also, with heroes like Broodmother that are very abusable, the way their kit works is very sort of extreme. I don't know if that's the right word. They have extreme kits, similar to, say, Meepo or Huskar. When these heroes get incremental buffs like that, if it suddenly tips over, it can become so annoying. You know, like it can become completely broken.
Yeah, the Meepo when he had 70% win rate or something.
Yeah. Like, you don't want to see Brood ever.
They just have extreme play styles that come with the heroes. Like, I don't know how to play with a Brood on my team.
Yeah, it's that unfamiliarity.
Brood spammer that's like, why aren't you doing it? It's like, I don't ever see this hero. Like, don't get mad at me. I don't know how to enable you. You're just a spider. Like, you're never with us.
It's like with Lycan. You never see this guy picked up, but then, and therefore when he's then picked up and played against you, so I'm thinking about pubs that I've had recently, it's like, oh, this hero's really strong. I have very little experience or practical knowledge of how to beat this hero, and just crumble.
Yeah.
Build Atos slow.
I'm going to say 3 heroes. First one, Lena. So, agility increased from 16 plus 1.5 to 23 plus 1.8. I can't do maths. 7 agi at level 1 more.
Yeah, that's 1 armor.
It's 1 armor and
better attack speed.
A little bit better attack speed. And, I mean, 0.3 better agi gain, like, not important, but it's pretty cool to just get 7 agility out of nowhere. That's like 2 slippers. More than 2 slippers.
I think that's a huge buff. I think that's one of the biggest buffs of the patch. 7 free agility.
Yeah, it's not usual to see a tweak that much. That's like half. That's 50% gain basically in agility at level 1.
Yeah, her and Drow got the same type of deal. Drow got 6 agility, but the base damage stayed the same. So basically, she gets another armor in the lane, and then gets a better attack animation as well. So both of those, I think, got their laning stages significantly buffed in the same manner.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah. And moving to a nerf now that I think is, at first glance, smaller than it is in reality. Lifestealer, Rage cooldown increased from 16 to 18. Rage is such a insane... it's a free BKB, we've said it before about Lifestealer.
And the attack speed.
And attack speed, of course. But particularly for this spell immunity stuff, I'm thinking like breaking high ground and stuff like that. This Rage cooldown is incredibly important. Think about how many times you've seen a Lifestealer that's about to die, unless he gets Rage off, and it's coming off cooldown. That's such a big moment. And 2 seconds for this spell, I actually think is an underratedly big nerf.
It is. It's like I said, in skirmishes, 2 seconds it sounds not much, but in fights, it can make all the difference. And Lifestealer relies on Rage massively to give him magic immunity and to enable his damage output. So if you've got to wait another 2 seconds before you can get involved, or maybe you're running away and you need it to live, it definitely does weaken the hero quite a bit. And it's a nerf that we did expect to see coming. Not this particularly, but we knew that Lifestealer would get a nerf somehow.
Yeah, he'd been nerfed. He's been touched up with nerfs, and he was still first phase banned most of the games at Stockholm.
Yeah, I think every game.
Yeah.
I think this is the straw that's going to break the camel's back with the Lifestealer. I don't think he's going to be as near as popular. This is just the difference between getting off 1 rage in a fight and 2 rages in a fight.
Yeah.
So after all the strength nerfs, and he might have gotten armor nerf too, and then Ursa also got another armor nerf this patch. I just think both of them are going to have their pick rates fall and have other heroes fill in because they just keep getting touched up.
Yeah, there are other heroes that are coming back into the fray slowly, other position ones. I won't go over them, but, just like heroes like Phantom Lancer are coming back slowly. Terrorblade seems like this hero is always there or thereabouts, and he was there or thereabouts at this major, strong hero. And then I mentioned 3 heroes. The third one I was going to talk about is Mars. Everyone knew this hero was going to be changed. Actually, hasn't been changed a ton, really, considering that it's a brand new hero. What do you think about the Mars changes, Adam?
I just think this is nerf number 1 out of what will probably end up being 5 nerfs. That's what they did. They did 5 minor nerfs, or 5 patches of minor nerfs to Grimstroke. And I think they'll do the same thing to Mars. But I don't know, just minor tweaks right now. He's still very good.
Incredibly good. I actually think this hero is super, super good. Since we did our Mars episode, the hero win rate was like 49%, 50%, and now it's up at like 55, I think. Something like that in higher level pubs. It's just been increasing slowly as people get more and more used to this hero that has a surprisingly unique set of skills. One of the changes that I think is really good to see is the 20 talent. 1.5 second Spear of Mars to 1. It's still really good, but that's when you get that talent, the amount of time you're stunned if you get latched is ridiculous. It feels like a primal roar.
It's like a primal roar on 10-second cooldown or something.
Yeah. Drive-by mention to Nargasire and mirror image illusion incoming damage reduced from 400 to 300. This makes hardly any difference, but
makes his illusions harder to kill. So
sticking with my Naga position 1 hype. One of my favourite carries at the moment. Not that I played much of it, but this here is a legit carry. We saw Arme play it once, and I think they lost. But Naga. Oh no, Nisha played it as well. So we saw a couple of Nagas.
Yeah, they won. That was set up the big black holes.
Of course, yeah. This hero is super cool.
Well, Dragon Knight got 5 buffs. So
someone really likes
Ice Frog might be wanting to say a little something. I mean, I just think the hero was already good. And if you get 5 minor buffs, that you can take advantage of all of them because he had a different talent buffed for every level of talent. So just tweaks that make him all that much better. I mean, the Scotty type slow on the range form dragon, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Breathe fire damage, awesome.
It's a pretty big slow as well. I mean, already it was. I haven't played DK since this buff, but it already was noticeable.
40 is huge.
I think maybe you could see more position 3 DK. There was a time not long ago where that was a thing. In the meta when you had 2 mids and then... Was it 2 mids and you'd have heroes like DK farm the offlane or something? I'm not certain. But looking at his talents, I think you could see more 3 DK rather than commonly you see him in the mid lane.
Yeah, because you can take advantage of the breathe fire damage reduction.
Yeah, so
instead of I think it's a mana talent, you just build a soul ring.
Mana,
and so then you're just this giant damage mitigator as opposed to the tempo controlling mid.
Yeah, so if the enemy team's got a push strat like Furion or Lycans, 25% damage reduction at level 10, that's a lot of damage, physical damage that would be outputted that you're stopping.
Well, it already has damage reduction on it, normally. right? So this is just an extra 25.
Oh god, yeah,
So it's
even
like
better than I thought.
it's like a 55% reduction or something.
Oh, okay, that's crazy. Yeah, you
Yeah.
D-push, that's amazing. And then even 15 and 20. So if you're this kind of position 3 tanky frontliner or whatever, and you're not looking to be a damage dealer, but maybe an initiator or someone to just cause havoc, 350 health now. That's often you would go damage as a mid laner. 350 health, say, for this tank position 3. That's a lot of HP to get. Then at 20, again, the mid DK might want to go for 25 strength to make them, to give more damage, and maybe, I don't know, I feel like often people would get 25 strength over gold, but now the gold is 180 rather than 150. With 180 GPM at level 20, maybe you might have to rush level 20. That's a lot of GPM.
It's like that old Lich talent at 180 GPM that was always super strong. Just depends on the game, I think. But you definitely can weigh the options as opposed to 150 was too small.
Yeah, my point about position 3 is that the further down the ladder of farm priority and what the role in the game, it's less about farming and being like a high net worth damage dealing hero. Gold talents are amazing because as someone who's maybe looking to create space more than farm, the gold talent just naturally supplements your gold amazingly. So that's the kind of thought process I had about maybe we see it more as a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an interesting hero. I do think you ought to be careful when you pick it mid, because it is easy to. I mean, the thing about DK that everyone says is, oh, like it's sort of like you can't lose your lane because of Dragon's Blood and Breathe Fire damage reduction. But I would personally, I mean, I'd hesitate to pick it unless you're last, because you can get ruffle stomped by heroes like Razor and Monkey King.
Yeah, you have to be careful with when you pick.
So do be a little bit careful, but yeah, like you say, buffs to all his talents and the Dragon Form slow. So that's all good stuff for this hero.
His level 25, I mean, you probably do go Dragon's Blood because that's just so good. But you can make Dragon Tail 5.25 seconds stun.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's an insane stun on 9-second cooldown. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Bonkers. And later into the game, because DK doesn't have his damage doesn't scale, he doesn't have any. Most carries you see have a crit or have, Terrorblade, illusion stuff going on. He doesn't have that innate ability, so that stun becomes incredibly more valuable. Like you said, you'd probably go for the Dragon's Blood, but yeah, the stun is so big late game.
Insane single target. Like, if they have a 4 project 1 or something, just stun their carry for 5 seconds.
Templar Assassin, little agility gain increase 0.4, whatever. That's nice because obviously an agi hero, so it's super nice to get agility touched up. But the meld debuff is 2 seconds longer. Now, it's interesting that TA's win rate's gone up like 3% after this patch. So I don't know if that, which is as much as any hero other than Drow Ranger, which has gone up 5%. So other than this, the reason I go to TA is because I play TA. But the fact that meld lasts 2 seconds longer, it's huge for things like Roche, because now it stacks. So you get 2 seconds, which overlaps to like 4 seconds or whatever of double meld.
Well, yeah, meld debuff, does that not apply to buildings?
I actually don't know. I don't think so. I've never melded a building.
You can't meld a tower. But,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, the stacking and then this lasting longer, they just wanted to stack more. So yeah. It's definitely big.
Yeah, well.
For Roche,
it's big for Roche, yeah. Which is big. It's just a pretty important objective.
I mean, you can maybe double meld someone in a fight if you're chasing them or something. But
perhaps, yeah. It's mainly Roche, like you say. But I thought that was worth mentioning just because 3%. So it's quite interesting that could have such a change.
As a tangent, one of the coolest snipe kills, I think, in Dota is when your TA melded on top of a ramp for so long that the meld cooldown finishes, and say there's some squishy support that walks up the ramp and you bang first meld, then insta-bang the second meld and kill them. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the dream scenario. Whack, whack, 2 melds.
It's a lot of minus armor.
Does anyone else have any more changes they want to go over?
Sniper.
Go on, Adam.
Oh,
What's changed?
I have in the notes, he's a giga good laner now.
The shrapnel replenish time is actually, that's massive.
It went from 50 to 40. So off the top, that's 20%, which is huge for a laning stage. And then at level 10, you take the cooldown reduction, and it goes from 40 down to 30. So, and I think the cooldown reduction is better than the damage at in all games. So really, it goes down from 50 to 30. That's like a 40% reduction off the top, and you're just farming so fast with it.
Just to clarify, the level 10 talent of Sniper is a choice between 20 damage and 25% cooldown reduction. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying it's always better to get cooldown reduction?
Yeah, 25% on a level 10 talent is absurd just off the top. And then just what that gives you, I mean, it's faster TPs. I played it yesterday and went Midas. I don't really rate that right now. It seemed a little overkill, but it's faster TPs, faster BKBs, faster Hurricane Pikes.
Maybe 2 ults in a fight.
Yeah, it's just with your whole skill kit and item build, you're getting more value out of the lower cooldowns than the damage.
And phase boost if you choose to go that route. I know you can go treads obviously as well.
Right.
I like to go phase on my Sniper, so it helps for that as well. If you do choose to go that route, it's something that I haven't played Sniper in ages, but I always used to take the damage. But I think if I played it now, I'd certainly would take the cooldown.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that items get the cooldown is overlooked and is where nearly most of the value lies, or at least as much value.
So yeah, Snipers been in a pretty rough place for quite a while. So
yeah, ever since the Sniper troll patch of 6 something, when people were hee ho ho and pepping everyone every game.
6.4.
People have PTSD about that patch.
I wasn't even around for that.
But you can farm stacks so fast with shrapnel, or just harass people out of lane with the shrapnel, and 30-second cooldown once you're level 10. That's really fast because it lasts 12 seconds. So it replenishes really quickly now.
What's the skill? I always find skill building on Sniper interesting. I mean, we don't need to spend a ton of time, but
well, they also buffed last patch. They buffed headshot as well.
Yeah. So
I maxed shrapnel because I wanted to try it yesterday, and it felt really good.
What did you go at level 1?
I was against I got at level 1. If I had to do it over again, I would have got headshot. I was against a Mirana who skilled Starstorm level 1. I wasn't expecting.
I've played as Mirana against Sniper in a lane mid, and the Sniper max take aim against me and completely shut me down because he would harass me so hard. So at level 3 and 5, he's getting so much attack range more than me that he would just literally keep me out of the creeps because I'd just get pepped for days and I can't retaliate.
Yeah, I like to take aim in hard lanes as well. If you're in a lane where you can't afford to go close to the creeps, or if you're in a lane where if you get a couple of points and take aim, you can, like you say, you can out harass rather than trading. Then you can take aim. I don't know about maxing headshot, but I always like to go headshot at level 1, and then max shrapnel.
You can go like 2-1-2 or 3-1-1 or 1-1-3. I mean, it just depends on the lane.
Yeah. Snipers are cool heroes.
Sniper's a cool hero. I have 2 heroes to mention because I think it's notable nerfs. So one is Chen. So it's a hero that you don't see much in pubs because its skill floor is very high. I think it's a very hard hero to play well, and then it's a very team orientated hero, so that makes it difficult. But where is he? His Divine Favor, is that what it's called? Yeah, the duration has been reduced from 14. Divine Favor, the duration reduced. Oh, sorry, yeah. The duration of the buff
heal is way lower.
Has been reduced from 14 at all levels to 8, 10, 12, 14. So now at level 1, it's nearly a 50% reduction in how long the Divine Favor is lasting, which is very significant.
You said you had another hero?
Yes, the other hero that also got nerfed, Lesh. So his Diabolic Edict his his damage reduced. So level 1, 11, 22, 33, 44. So this is his W, which does loads of AoE, physical, shaky, damage. Now that's gone from 11 to 8 at level 1. So now the value point, and not a value point because you would max this, but its progression up to 44 at level 4 is now worse.
You definitely want to get more points in it because it does also get reduced by armor since it's physical. So 11 down to 8 and then further reduced by armor is a huge nerf.
So basically at levels 1, 2, 3, this spell is weaker. And then at level 4, it's now the same as 7.21c. But this spell was, and still is, wreaking havoc. In the offlane, you'll see you can just run down supports with Edict. Lesh is a very fast hero, they're not getting away from you, and deal immense damage. And then also to tower pushing, you'd use this to push towers super fast. So now, at levels 1, 2, 3, it's weaker. It's this kind of necessary nerf. And to me, quite significant.
Yeah, I mean, if you, like you said, running down heroes, if you can get Edict on a single target, does crazy damage. Final mention that I'll say, because I've been running for ages. Final mention, Storm Spirit. Now, they already changed the Electric Vortex, his W, so that you had your full move speed. And now they've increased the range from by 40 at all levels. So now it's 180 at level 1, scaling up to 300 at level 4. Now, particularly the move speed, speed reduction change was, you might think that that's completely insignificant. I did pretty much, because when you're zipping around, who really cares about move speed, right? But a point that I thought was made at the Major by a couple of the analysts, Lizard and Fogged, that I thought was really interesting is you now see Storms. I don't know what skill build no one went, but actually he played before the patch, so it doesn't matter. But for the laning stage, getting a value point in the W is actually, I think, the go-to now. Because of the extra range and also because you don't have move speed. It's really good for like harassing and can even give you kill potential, if an enemy's low.
Yeah, so it's
for sure.
It's 1.4 second duration on the pull at level 1. The issue with the old pull, so you'd cast the pull and then your hero would kind of get basically, it felt like 100 movement speed. The Storm Spirit, that is. So you'd pull, but you'd want to walk up to them to get your Remnant on the face, but you couldn't because you've got this movement speed impaired, and say at level 1 it's only 1.4 seconds, so it doesn't last very long. But now you pull them, you're not slowed, so you can walk up and get a Q and get a right click on and be like in the face. And now you've also got the buff to the cast range that you can do that. It is good buffs, like non-trivial kind of buffs.
Yeah.
And his int gain and starting has been slightly improved, ever so slightly. These are welcome changes for Storm Spirit. It does make him a bit stronger.
So at level 6, would you say that it would be, would you say it'd be reasonable to go QE, QW?
I think at level 6, no. I think I've not played Storm recently, but when I think about it now, I'd still probably have 3 in my Remnant, 3 in my Overload, and 1 in my ult at level 7, because I think you're only looking to use your Vortex for kill potential maybe at around level 8, 9, 10 mark.
I might be remembering this wrong, but level 1 Vortex was not long enough to pull somebody into a Remnant.
Yeah, that's what I had. I was thinking that I'm ahead.
But now level 1 Remnant is as long as level 2 was before. So you might be able to pull somebody into a static Remnant. And also they buffed static Remnant damage.
Yeah, but it's more the fact that you can pull someone and walk forward in Remnant because you now don't have your movement speed impaired.
You can pull somebody into a Remnant and then also run ahead of them and drop another one.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
So, I don't know, you might have kill potential now.
Yeah,
because if it's level 1 spell is as good as the level 2 version was before, it might be enough to pull somebody into a Remnant.
Yeah, potentially. But it's just
he's got a ton of minor nerfs.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
minor buffs. Sorry, yeah, because they changed Bloodstone so hard they had to give him a ton of stuff, and he's got a ton of stuff every patch.
Yeah, Remnant damage is so high. particularly early game. 120 damage in an AoE. You can farm jungle in this hero, you can farm lane. Like you say, you've got lots of incremental buffs, and Storm Spirit is definitely making a comeback. He's not because it's the nature of the buffs have been incremental, so he's not suddenly exploding into the pub scene, but he's coming back slowly but surely. So that's cool to see, because Storm is a cool hero. Yeah, I think that's. Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, there's two heroes that we haven't mentioned that got the biggest nerfs, I think.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, it's just Pango and Oracle are the two that got the biggest, I think.
Pango, yeah. The Pango puck thing's worth saying as well. Do you want to say Oracle quickly?
Oracle since he was so picked, they nerfed his ult 3 different ways. It cost more mana at level 2 and 3. It had its range nerfed by 300 at level 1. So instead of being 1,000 at all levels, it goes 700, 850, 1,000. And then it also, the cooldown is increased on it 15 seconds every level. So it's a lot of nerfs to one spell. I still think he's still very strong. And they probably were necessary nerfs. I mean, 30-second cooldown on his ult late game was pretty insane. So now it's 45 seconds. But I think he's still top tier support.
Definitely still top tier support. And we already talked about him earlier. Still top tier. One thing, we don't really need to explain it. It's relatively trivial to explain. The weird puck Dream Coil interaction with Pangolier is no longer a thing, because they've changed Coil to no longer latch on spell immune units. And so that means previously, if you had BKB and puck Dream Coiled you, it would latch to you, but you would be able to walk out and nothing would happen because you're spell immune. But now that initial latch won't even happen, which means is the most relevant for Pangolier, because obviously he's spell immune under his ult, Rolling Thunder. So when you use Rolling Thunder, previously you'd be latched and your movement would just stop. It was actually kind of stupid. It was really...
because it's a leash if you're affected by Dream Coil.
Exactly.
So your movement is stopped, right?
So am I right in thinking that previously, if you were BKB'd, say on...
I don't even think if you were BKB'd before, it would latch you. It was just, it would latch Pango. And I don't know, it was kind of weird, because it would latch a Jug, and it probably would latch a Lifestealer if they were spinning and raged, but they could just walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the same for BKB, but you could just walk out.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Okay. But would that cancel TPs through BKB?
No. It didn't do anything. It was just like a weird...
It was just visual.
Yeah, it was totally...
So the only thing it really worked on was Pango then, because it would stop his rolling.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Could you cast Blink and stuff, even if you were BKB'd, or did you have to walk out first?
I don't know.
It's not relevant, because that's not a thing anymore anyway, so we don't need to worry ourselves
about
that.
They fixed it. Like, it was kind of a pseudo bug, and they fixed it.
It was weird, yeah. It was one of those OS Frog features.
Now, if you build Aghanims, you can go through spell immunity and leash people, and it will work on Pango.
Yeah, it was super tasty and probably too strong that as a, say, Posfol puck, you could just drop your Dream Coil on a Pango in his ult and he would be rendered useless because he'd be stuck in place. Probably a bit too extreme.
And that is like a corner case nerf, but I do think his talent buffs make him a very good mid option. I really like that cast range talent at level 10.
I like that as well. So now his level 10 choice is 125 cast range or 5
they changed both.
stats.
So they got rid of the 5 armor talent and the 10 intelligence talent.
So now it's
and
plus
I think
5
both
all
of those
stats.
were bad.
Or 125 cast range. Yeah, 5 armor or 10 int is kind of whatever. Puck doesn't care for armor. The int is kind of nice, but you'll only get it after you've got all your spells maxed. But now 125 cast range is decent for a guy that's using lots of blinks and using his orb to be super mobile. It's really nice.
And Dream Coil.
And getting the Dream Coil off from further away.
Yeah.
Does that make his silence longer too?
No.
No?
No. We had this discussion.
We discussed this for about 10 minutes. I think we
so orbs, blinks, Dagons, hexes, cast range on ult. I mean, that's all value, and it's all way more valuable than 5 armor because you shouldn't be getting hit as a puck anyways.
Yep.
So 5 armor was absolutely useless as a talent.
Yeah. So the cast range is point targets and unit targets.
Okay.
So yeah. Finally, because this is already the longest pod ever. So congrats if you're still here. Lucky Shot can't do both silence and disarm.
Hooray.
And it's reduced to 17%.
Spirit Breaker meme tier.
Yeah.
This being the Pango passive that you would proc off his swashbuckle or right clicks.
This is just a good change. It shouldn't be able to disarm and silence you at the same time. It's already annoying enough.
That's crazy strong.
And the slow, which is almost the best part about it.
It was so strong. It's like a root almost.
Yeah, it's crazy good.
It's like a sicky napalm.
Yeah. So that's just a good change.
And then another, the ult mana cost, what goes from 100 to 100, 150, 200. 200 is a ton of mana on Pango. Seems like he always has mana issues. Like you're trying to go like Yules, Greaves, Bottle. Like you need, because he's an Agi hero that uses a ton of spells. So he really needs mana. I think that is going to be very relevant for late game Pango.
You want to cast your Q and W all the time on Pango. Because they're so low cooldown and they're so useful for farming and stuff. So yeah, he's quite mana hungry. So yeah, that's 7.21D that we've got to after our story time. And like I said, longest on record. So any Warriors that are still here, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. We'll be back again shortly. More educational, a patch episode's a patch episode, but more educational, cool content to come. So yeah, thanks for listening. Stay hydrated. We'll see you
Join
next
the
time.
Discord.
Join the Discord, stay hydrated, in between games, stand up, do a bit of stretching, get the blood flowing, you're good to go. Easy.
Let's get some in-houses going.
Yeah, get in the Discord for news about in-houses and discussions. Link will be in the description. Yeah, that's us. Bye.